So I was at my desk finding myself with a mouse pad and I was just trying so hard to just compose myself. I could feel my legs vibrating. I could feel the heat brewing from inside my body. And I was just sitting there, thinking, okay, I just need to, hold it together long enough to be able to get up and just walk to my car, because I genuinely did not want to embarrass myself by dropping on that office floor. I can't even imagine passing out and just falling on the floor in the office. And the thing is, my doctor had told me months before that my hemoglobin was low, and I was taking the supplements. So in my head, I was handling it. I'm taking what I'm supposed to be taking. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'll be fine. Eventually, I'll be fine. I'm fine, and I'll be fine eventually. I mean, except that I wasn't handling it. I was just moving on, paying attention to other things. I was continuing to live my life as if there wasn't anything going on that I needed to, pay more attention to. And even the weeks before that incident, right, I hadn't really been feeling myself. I knew I withdrew quite a bit. I just wanted to be by myself. I didn't really want to talk to anybody or connect with anyone because I was just mentally stressed. I was having frequent headaches. I was having migraines. My husband noticed, but he thought I was upset with him, and at one point he actually sent me a message because he had tried to talk to me severally and I was just, dismissing him. So he sent me a message apologizing for what he thought he did that was making me distant. Thinking about it now, I mean, it's just kind of funny. He knew something was off. He tried to connect, but I just wasn't in the mood. He just had absolutely no idea what was going through my head. And to be fair to him, how would he asked me several times. I wasn't saying anything. He's not a mind reader, right? So I told him I just needed some time to myself, and that was it. I didn't even mention what had happened at the office, and it wasn't because I was trying to hide anything from him. I wasn't. I don't know, man. I feel like I don't naturally lead with I need help. Um, I don't ask for help until I feel like I really, really need it. Like until asking is basically the only option that I have left. So eventually I told him what had happened and what had been going on. And I mean, he stepped in immediately. He stepped in immediately for a full week or two. He handled everything, like absolutely everything, from school runs, packed lunches, the kids and their shenanigans. He handled everything. And me, I was just there chilling on my bed, relaxing, resting, you know, and I did not feel guilty. Like, that's just the funny thing. I absolutely did not feel guilty. I felt nothing. I felt pure relief, right? I was just relieved, honestly. And I think that's the parts that has sort of stayed with me because if receiving help was that easy, why wasn't I asking? Then what exactly was I waiting for? Because clearly it wasn't permission. I didn't need permission from anyone to rest, right? I didn't need permission from anyone to rest. Nobody was telling me I couldn't rest. Absolutely not. I just wouldn't stop until I felt like I had absolutely no other option. And I mean, it's just funny, right? And apparently, my body was like, okay, since you're not going to take time off for yourself, since you're not going to do it, I'll do it for you. And he did, and that was what happened. So because I really thought I had grown past this whole me not being able to ask for help. I actually genuinely think I had grown past that. I thought I understood myself better now. I thought I knew my limits. I thought I was better at asking for help now. And then there I was, trying not to pass out at my desk in the office of all places. And what happened next? Nothing. When I stopped, nothing happened. When I stopped to take that rest, nothing happened. Nothing. The kids were fine. My work was fine. Everything I thought I needed to keep holding up was still standing. Nothing broke down, and that's the part I'm still sitting with, honestly, because I knew something was off. That's what bothers me. I knew my body needed rest. I knew my body was struggling. I'd been having like weeks, days of migraine. I knew I hadn't been myself, you know. I knew for weeks that something wasn't quite right with me. So it wasn't that I did not recognize the signs. I absolutely did recognize. I saw it. I knew something was off. I just kept deciding that the other things, were much more urgent than taking a rest. The kids, my work, the other things I'm trying to build on the side. It was just, I mean, it's just funny. There was always something that felt much more important than stopping and taking that rest until my body basically took that decision away from me. And I had no choice than to, just stop everything and rest. And so I don't know. I don't think the lesson for me is to learn to recognize my limits, because I actually do recognize my limits, right? I recognize them just fine. I think maybe the thing I actually really need to learn is to live like those limits actually matter, right? Because knowing something about yourself and actually deciding how you live because of what you now know, I think those are two different things, right? I think those are two different things. And clearly, I'm still working on that. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. And I just wanted to share with you guys. Thank you for listening. Cheers.